everyone, welcome back to Fig and Thistle Books. I'm Amanda, and today I'm going to discuss my April TBR. Now, if you watched my last video, you know that I've been on vacation this past week, and I said that my TBR, I was holding off on assembling it because I knew that I was going to be finding myself in a bookstore, and then I was probably going to pick up some books that I want to read right now. And I'm glad I waited because of this. I think 1, 2, 3 of the books are books that I picked up earlier this week when I was out book shopping, and I will do like a haul video here in a couple days. So, okay, let's get to it. April TBR. Now, I should say that it's towards the end of the semester. There's been some changes at work. Kids have activities going on for end of the school year. My husband has like art shows and stuff going on, so I'm saying that I'm going to read 7 books at least this month, and I will be pleased if I finish 2 because things are nutty, but we can always dream, right? Who doesn't love a book list? Okay, so first up is Karenina. I'm doing this for Anna in April. I think there's one person reading along with me, so Susie, I'm glad you're in it to win it and reading along with me. I guess we can call this a buddy read now. And I am almost done with section 2. I'm loving it. This is a terrific translation, and Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern on Twitter, I will be discussing my thoughts on the first 2 sections of Anna Karenina. So, this is a good one. The second book is another one that I've already started. I started on my little vacation, and I'm almost done with it. It's Frances Hardinge, The Lie Tree, and I have to show you my bookmark because it's cute. My 5-year-old Percy made me a cup of coffee. See that? And she's left-handed, hence the little handle on both sides. So it's functioning as my bookmark right now. And I'm enjoying this book. It's creepy. I'm intrigued with the mystery. It's a YA book. I had a bit of a hard time getting into it. The beginning chapters, the writing, I understand it's YA. We're trying to set a gothic-y tone, but it was a bit overwrought for my tastes. I prefer a more subtle brand of gothic-y literature, but now I'm hooked. I have to figure out what's going on. I'm completely mesmerized, so I am hoping to finish this book this weekend before I go back to the madness of work and school and everything else. All right. Next up on the list, some nonfiction, Educated by Tara Westover. I do not typically buy hardback books. I feel like I say that all the time, and more I'm purchasing hardback books, but YOLO. And this is a book about a woman who her parents were kind of separatists, and they were kind of like out in the wild, and she didn't have like a social security card or really go out into society or attend school, and she educated herself, and so I am mesmerized by this, and then kind of the culture shock she has going to, I believe she goes to Harvard eventually, and then to Cambridge. And I was drawn to this. So if I read the back, I probably would not have bought this book because I'm not a J.D. Vance fan, but we can talk about that another day. I was homeschooled most of my life, and it was not this experience by any means whatsoever, but the whole kind of culture shock of being educated or not educated one way and then going into either a public school system or a university system. There was a bit of a culture shock. Now keep in mind, I believe, I don't know how old she is. She's still fairly young. She graduated in, I guess, 2008 from Brigham Young. And then she went on to Trinity College in Cambridge and Harvard. So she's fairly young, but we didn't have the internet back when I was a little whippersnapper. So I was less clued into social things. So anyways, I'm going to read this and see, because I'm very, I am really interested to see how she educated herself, and went on to college. So, all right, next up is going to be a reread for me, Willows by Sylvia Townsend Warner. And I read this book, at least 12 years ago, and I loved it. And I didn't have a copy, so I got one. And I started reading it while I was on vacation, just a few pages, and I was like, yes, I need to go to this month. So this is about a single woman and the family. She ends up living with, I believe, her brother's family, and it has some magical realism. And as you can see, oh look, The Fantastic Flights of Angela Carter and Jeanette Winterson. So right up my alley. I can't wait to read this. And I actually got to thinking about Willows because there's some elements of witchiness in here, and my daughter, who's 5, says her imaginary friend is Baba Yaga, and talks about how she's a good witch, and it's her imaginary friend, but that people don't understand witches, and that's why they're afraid of them. That's why they're afraid of Baba Yaga, because she's powerful. So we had a discussion about women and power and how society perceives powerful women, and conversation with my 5-year-old daughter, and it got me thinking. I started referring to her as like, Percy Jane, you're my little lolly willows over here. So then I was like, I've got to read the book again. So don't send me letters or pray for me, okay? It's made up. It's cool. And see, I gotta say that because there'll be someone who'll be like, your daughter is consorting with the devil because people are weird. Okay. All right. Next up, V.E. Schwab's A Darker Shade of Magic. I meant to read this on vacation, didn't get to it, but I'm feeling the pull of this book, so getting some good fantasy. Next up, The Essex Serpent by Sarah Perry. I have got to read this. I bought it. I pre-ordered it. I've wanted to read it so badly. I've recommended it to other people without having read it, but I'm afraid that once I read it, I will have read it, and I won't get to read it again for the first time. And so I'm saving it for when I'm feeling slumpy and when I need something Victorian, but not Victorian. I'm saving it. But then I started reading that Sarah Perry is coming out with a book, at least in the UK this fall. I don't know when it will come to the US, called Melmoth, based on the Charles Maturin novel Melmoth the Wanderer, which I read in college and freaking loved. And I was like, Melmoth! And so I love that she's writing Gothic lit stuff. And so then I was like, I'm going to just do it. Just read The Essex Serpent. And if you get a Sarah Perry hankering, you can go read like her previously published book, or you can pre-order Melmoth. So if you read this, you can pre-order Melmoth. So I'm going to do it. And last but not least, another nonfiction book from one of my favorite Maggies, Maggie Nelson, The Art of Cruelty. And let's see here, why did I buy this and say I have to read it now? Well, I picked it, I was like, ooh, Maggie Nelson, and then I flipped it over. Writings in the tradition of Susan Sontag and Elaine Scarry, Maggie Nelson emerged as one of our foremost cultural critics with this landmark work about representations of cruelty and violence in art. Color me intrigued. From Sylvia Plath's poetry, oh hell yes, I'm reading this book right now. So, and it's also because my husband's an artist, and he's not bookish, but we talk a lot about art, and he got me a Hieronymus Bosch figurine for our anniversary last year, so that's kind of how we roll. I feel like this is something where I can read it and think about Sylvia Plath and books and poetry, but I can also talk to my husband about it. So even if he's not reading the book, I could be like, hey, what do you think about this? And we can have good discussions. It'll be a great time. So those are the 7 books I am planning on reading in April. Let's see how much of it I get done. It all depends on how crazy it is at work, because it's the end of the semester and we've had some people leave, we have some positions open, we have some people moving offices. It's kind of hectic, and the end of the semester with my courses and the end of the semester with kids stuff, so we'll just see how much reading I get done. All right, we'll see. I'm very optimistic. All right, I hope y'all are reading good things this month, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.